What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today Godzilla King the Monsters comes out, sort of. I mean, it comes out tomorrow, but a whole bunch of us are seeing it today. I'm seeing it today in a few hours. The 5-year wait is over! Alright, in this one, we still have set visits to cover from way back when. It's gonna be irrelevant here in a few hours for most of us, but hey, it's Godzilla Day. Let's celebrate, right? Let me just try and cover all the news that I was supposed to cover that I never did. That's what today's gonna be. It's a catch-up day for sure. And then my review tonight. I am incredibly excited. I can't wait. Also, it's like I said in my last video, these next few news and updates, they're gonna be a little less edited than normal. That's just gonna be the way that it is because I've got so many that I'm trying to put out in this short time span. So sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Jumping into the IGN interview, there's a lot to cover here with the IGN interview because there's a few parts to it. But I want to say, just like I said in all the other set visit videos, there's minor spoilers in these, but they're nothing big. Like, I hate spoilers. You guys know my spoiler policy. You guys gotta quit tagging me in spoilers. I get that some of you have seen the movie already, but some of us hasn't. So don't do it. I already woke up and blocked like something like a dozen people. So if you don't want to be part of the dozens of people getting blocked today, don't send me spoilers. Let's give me a grace period until May 31st, all right? And then I'm saying May 31st. Let's go May 31st Pacific time, okay? Jesus. Okay, IGN interview. Let's jump into it. Monarch goes to Mexico because they think Charles Dance might be there. That sounds like the reason that Monarch goes to Mexico, and that's where Rodan is released and appears. I could have sworn that they were going to Mexico because they were aware that Rodan was gonna wake up. I think Charles Dance might wake up Rodan if he's in Mexico and they're trying to go stop him and intercept him. I think that is what's going on here. It says that they fear Rodan will destroy Isla de Mona, or it might be Isla de Mara, depending on what you're going off of. The old stuff says Isla de Mona, Monarch timeline says Isla de Mona. The website used to say Isla de Mona, it's changed to Isla de Mara, and then I believe some of the newer TV spots have said Isla de Mara, but I'm not sure which one is actually canon at the moment. I guess I'll find out in a few hours. Either way, they go to Isla de Mona, and that's when Rodan wakes up. They fear that he's going to destroy the city, so they open fire on him as a way to distract him and get him to chase them away from the city. I don't think this is gonna really work out very well because they wind up flying over the city and Rodan clearly is gonna cause some damage in the trailer. That doesn't look like it's a successful mission in my opinion. Plus, they fly right into Ghidorah, who I don't know why, but he's in the area. I'm not sure what he's doing there. And then based off what we've been talking about recently with some of the concept art, Godzilla might also just be taking a stroll through Mexico at this point. I don't know about that though. I'm gonna say that it's probably just gonna be Rodan and Ghidorah, but Godzilla might just stroll on into the scene. I have no idea. I like the idea that myths aren't myths. They're actually history that mankind has chosen to forget because they just can't cope with the fact that they were real. These giant creatures existed, so mankind has tried to move on from it. There is a big focus on the humans being as strong and memorable as possible in this movie, which is great to hear. It conflicts with what we've heard from some of the reviews, which say that the human characters are not memorable. I just like to hear that they tried their best to make the human characters as likable as possible. There is an interview with Alex Garcia. It's a set interview, so we actually have footage of it. If you look behind him, you see a big pterodon skeleton behind him in the underwater Monarch base. There's futuristic screens showing scans of different environments. I'm not totally sure. Looks like they have a big global map. The underwater base just looks a lot larger than we ever thought it was, and he talks a lot about how this movie's going to deal with modernized allegory, not necessarily sticking to the atomic roots of Godzilla, but going more in depth with how Godzilla plays a role in nature and how humanity has kind of trashed on nature in recent years. The IGN interview also has a little snippet with O'Shea Jackson Jr., who plays Barnes in the new movie. He is in G-Team. He says that we're all in for a treat to have Ghidorah this early. He says usually in a cinematic universe, a character like Ghidorah would be saved for the final installment, but they are going right to him in the sequel, so we are all in for a treat. O'Shea loves Gigan, we know that. I like the quote, "We are in his way," talking about Godzilla. Humanity just gets in his way when he's trying to get the job done. That's pretty interesting. anything. Barnes is the leader of the strongest military force on the planet, so G-Team is the strongest military force on the planet. And O'Shea refuses to talk Godzilla vs. Kong, although he says he is Team Godzilla. That being said, Kong is better than Godzilla, and it's not even close. Anyone who didn't stick around for O'Shea's Twitter a few months ago is not going to get that joke, and they're just going to get triggered, but really, do I care? No, you can be upset. There was a Fandango set visit, however, we almost learned nothing from it. All we know is that it was stated that Godzilla held down the Pacific in 2014, and he did humanity a favor that some of humanity will recognize and some of humanity won't. We also hear that Mark Russell specializes in animal behavior, and we know based off the Monarch website that he specializes in bioacoustics specifically. There was a Collider interview for Godzilla King of the Monsters. We got a whole bunch of information from the Collider interview, so let's run through it. The people from Collider watched a scene in the Monarch War Room being filmed. They said Graham is having a briefing on Monarch and about what they're going to do with Charles Dance's character. There's lots of characters and lots of dialogue in this scene. It appears to be one extended shot, no cuts. At least that's how it was filmed. The camera moves in a circular motion around the room. Mark believes that Charles Dance's character only went after Mothra for a decoy. He doesn't think they actually need or want Mothra all that much. And Mark is a bit of an outsider here. He wants all the Titans dead. He really doesn't care what happens except that he gets his family back. And he really isn't that deep into Monarch, although he does have knowledge of the Orca. We do know a little bit more about that from the Monarch website. Mark Russell did work for Monarch for a long time, although he resigned in 2014 after Godzilla's appearance. And we also know that he did co-develop the Orca with Emma Russell. Dance's character will be seemingly trafficking Titan DNA, kind of like a Pacific Rim black market deal. That does conflict with previous reports we've got where it sounded like he wanted to, quote, level the global playing field. Now it kind of makes it sound like he's just in it for the money. So I'm not sure which of the two is actually his motivation. I think this one might have just been them misinterpreting the scene, because I do think that he is just an eco-terrorist who just kind of wants to wipe out countries and doesn't really care about making a profit. That seems to be the way it is, in my opinion. Monarch will be super funded in this post-Godzilla world. That is the in-universe explanation for why Monarch is so on top of it in this movie when they weren't in 2014. It seems that they were never able to handle situations before, not because they were ignorant, but because they were underfunded, which we did see a lot of in Kong Skull Island. Kong is being monitored by Monarch at all times. I'm not sure how that works, considering they can't be on the island, otherwise he'll stomp them. Emma has a station in the underwater Monarch base, and she has video monitors in it. I don't know why I thought that was such an interesting point that I had to write it down, but I guess I did. Kong will be mentioned in the movie, and he will be mentioned in the underwater Monarch base as he is seen on screens there. I don't think that actually means he's seen. I think that just means that his name is on a screen. There could, though, be potential archive footage from Bill Aranda that was shot in Kong Skull Island. We also heard that Toho approved all changes for the new Toho Kaiju. They made sure that Legendary and Warner Brothers and Michael Dougherty stuck to exactly what they wanted. They are specific guidelines, unlike what happened in 98 where their guidelines were disregarded. Mark is only motivated by getting his daughter back, and he doesn't really care what happens to the Titans. Sounds like he doesn't hate all of them, and he doesn't want all of them dead, but he wants most of them dead, and he really doesn't like them. He also has complex reasons for why he feels the way he does, as we will find out. Hashtag rest in peace, Little Russell. O'Shea Jackson Jr. stated that he wants Mechagodzilla and Gigan to take on the new Godzilla in a future installment of the Monsterverse, and I know a lot of fans want that too. I don't think it's gonna happen. It just seems a little unrealistic to me for the Monsterverse to have those characters, but who knows? I mean, Ghidorah is probably an alien, so we're already going a little crazy with the Monsterverse. I have no idea what they're gonna wind up with. All right, the Collider Michael Dougherty interview. There's not too much to talk about here either, but there is a little bit. It was important to Michael Dougherty that because we live in a world where scientists are constantly being targeted and all the bad things that are happening in science are always being exploited by the media, this film showed that scientists can be superheroes as well. They don't have any powers, but they are smart enough to handle situations, and they are able to throw down with giant monsters because they have the mental capacity to do so. Mankind has already crossed paths with these monsters before. This is not the first time that the Titans have seen humans. The old Mothra movies, Michael Dougherty says, is a good example of what to expect the ancient civilizations to have acted like in relation to the Titans, so they just worship them, kind of like how they did with Kong in King Kong vs. Godzilla. And he says Kong is an example of a modern day Titan that has never lost contact with humanity, but rather continues to develop that mature relationship with them. I find that very interesting. He says there is a mutual and mature relationship that Kong has with humanity. You're not going to have Kong be the bad guy in Godzilla vs. Kong. You're just not. Kong is going to like humans. I mean, we already saw that in Kong Skull Island. He went out of his way to help humanity. And although he does kill quite a bit of people in that movie, he actually kills more humans than the Skullcrawlers do. He does it for a decent reason. So we can understand and sympathize with Kong on a level that we just can't with Godzilla. And Godzilla also just doesn't probably care about humanity the way Kong does. Godzilla Godzilla has no reason to like us. He really doesn't. Ford Brody saved his life on accident. Other than that, though, Godzilla really has no reason to like us. Also, Michael Dougherty does confirm that that Mothra Easter egg in Godzilla 2014 was 100% a Mothra Easter egg. He says that the Mothra twins were a deliberate Easter egg in Godzilla 2014. The firemen that look like the Mothra twins when they are seen inside of the building. At least the way Michael Dougherty talked about that, it made it sound like that was intentional. The way they looked made sure that they looked like the Mothra twins. However, I'm still gonna say that they were just firemen because it just makes more sense. Michael Dougherty continued to state that the twins may appear in Godzilla King of the Monsters and their size is to be determined. You know, I'm confident that they'll be in the movie in some way, shape, or form. We have heard from other recent reports that they will be in the movie in some way, so we'll see him again. Ghidorah will look like an Eastern dragon, not a Western dragon. They didn't want him to look like any Game of Thrones dragons. They wanted him to look more Chinese, more Asian. Dougherty has also passed on the Monarch template and everything to do with it to Adam Wingard for Godzilla vs. Kong. He had lots of involvement in making sure Monarch was handled properly in Godzilla vs. Kong, so expect the futuristic Monarch to carry over. We're going to end today's episode with some Empire Magazine scans. There was it's not recent anymore, but there was an Empire Magazine article that came out for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Had lots of interesting information in it. I read the whole thing, so you don't have to. Godzilla is the main character of the movie. The humans are not. Godzilla is. Rodan is a rogue, obviously. Rodan's a bit of a wild card, as it's said. His destruction happens faster and more efficiently than Godzilla's, which is why he's considered a little bit more powerful than Godzilla in terms of destructive capability, not in terms of brute strength. Mothra is stated to be the yin to Godzilla's yang. They are two sides of the same coin. That was actually a video that I was going to make back in 2015-16 era. I had it written down. It was like kind of scripted out, where I was going to talk about how Mothra was going to be the balance to Godzilla. They were both going to be good guys, both working to do the same thing to balance the earth. I never did make that video. I don't know why. I think it would have had a lot of long time longevity. More people could have enjoyed that over time than they can enjoy news videos. So that would have actually probably been one of my more successful videos, and I just slept on it for what, 4 years? Michael Dougherty says that if there is any creature in Godzilla King of the Monsters that you should be rooting for, it's Mothra. She is definitively the good guy, whereas Godzilla is a bit of an anti-hero. He will do the right thing, but if humanity crosses a line, he is going to cross the other side of it, and he is going to fight us back. Whereas Mothra, she's just the good guy. Michael Dougherty views the evil Godzillas in previous series as Mother Nature's way of getting back at humanity, so that we could see something like that in Godzilla vs. Kong if humanity passes a line that Godzilla disagrees with. Also, they said that sumo wrestlers were the inspiration for Godzilla's fighting style in the new movie. I mean, Godzilla fought like a boxer in the 1970s, so this is nothing too crazy or new. And also, Godzilla is stated to not be a big dumb lizard in this continuity. He has a wisdom and consciousness to him. Also, Michael Dougherty says he had some fun rewriting Godzilla vs. Kong. He said it was like dealing with two parents fighting, so it was a little difficult for him to pick a winner or for him to actually help get to the point where one of the characters would beat the other. But he said that it was a lot of fun to work on the movie, or at least work on the rewrites. He didn't work on the movie. He also hit us with a what's a king to a god line when they asked which character he's rooting for. But, you know, what's a god to a non-believer? Kong's just gonna blow him off. Kong's gonna put up one hell of a fight. Just wait. All right, and that's actually a bunch of stuff that we can check off the list right there. We are done with all. Remember when I was like 14 pages behind? I'm still incredibly far behind in all my notes, but we are caught up on all the old stuff. So Derek from a few months ago, we did it. You're still behind though. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man out.